Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I did start my morning with coffee and by buying $589 worth of XRP, and that is the fact jack. This man or woman or whatever he identifies to be says get out of stocks, buy gold. Charles Nenner warns of imminent end of the American empire. Now, yesterday, and then you all know how evil Gary Gensler is. And so yesterday, Ripple, we had the announcement of the Bitwise ETF filing, XRP's, and then we had this, XRP's ETFs was inevitable. And Monarch's team is happy to see the whole SEC saga coming to an end. This is why we're grateful and excited to build the first Web3 bank on XRP Ledger. So Gary timed all of this stuff to, obviously to try to be an asshole, basically. But that's, man, I wonder what this guy does on a Friday and Saturday night, because he has no real friends. You couldn't be this kind of person and have any real friends. You could have Elizabeth Warrens that are going to leave you hanging the second they don't need you anymore. But a guy like this does not have any real friends. This is a sad little man. Asset manager Bitwise filed an S1. This is from the thing. This is officially from CoinDesk. I was surprised they were actually. Then we had this from Anders L. This all happened. Then we'll go over the lawsuit part. Western Union will appear at Ripple Swell in Miami. Did Western Union finally bend the knee? All XRP OG holders knows exactly what I'm talking about. Even more interesting considering MoneyGram ended their partnership with Ripple when the SEC lawsuit launched. True story. Ripple did a partnership with Western Union a long time ago, and then Ripple ended up working with MoneyGram, and then MoneyGram left the deal once the SEC lawsuit was dropped, and later went with Stellar because Stellar was not under a lawsuit. Now I want to show you this before we get into anything else, because this is a big deal right here, folks. This is a big, big deal. Listen, this is Brad Combs, Digital Perspectives, with the Uphold CEO. This is a big deal.
Okay. This got me so excited when I saw the email come across, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, so I'm an investor. I have a lot of assets on this platform, and I'm thinking to myself, let's suppose we get into this next bull cycle here, and I take $2.5 million worth of profit. You're telling me I can move that profit right on my Uphold account, right over into USDC, and earn 4.9% on my gains while I continue to invest, continue to do these things, and on top of it, you're telling me that $2.5 million is FDIC insured, Simon?
That's right. That's right. And this is US dollars.
$2.5 million FDIC insured, 4.9%.
It's not USDC. It's actually, you can move instantly from crypto directly into dollars on the platform. Instantaneous, it takes seconds. And you're earning 4.9% on balances over $1,000 and 2% from $1. The 2% from $1 is completely unique in the industry. Yeah. If you go to Robinhood, I think I'm correct in saying from $1 they'll offer you 50 basis points. We're offering you 4 times that amount. Yeah. And the yield is being generated from a US broker dealer that's integrated into the Uphold app. So the source of the yield is super secure and stable.
Wow, that is a big deal. So Tom Emmer, so yesterday we had Goober Graywall, the director of enforcement for the SEC, step down. And I remember seeing an Ashley Prosper right when that came out. Because right after he stepped down, Ashley Prosper made a comment, and I don't know it word for word, but made a comment like, uh-oh, this reminds me of something to the effect that this reminds me of Jay Clayton. He steps down, and then all of a sudden, so then after he steps down is when this pops up. James Filan, this is notice of appeal for the United States Court of Appeals. SEC respectfully appeals the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, and this is SEC versus Ripple Labs, Brad Garlinghouse, Christian Larson. So Fred Rispoli was immediately on it. He's got several interesting tweets. He's an attorney. SEC appeals Ripple case, cross appeal SEC's company ending district court cases against Coinbase and Kraken continue. Life continues. Don't freak out. But if you are a crypto single issue voter, you absolutely cannot vote for Harriet's Waltz ticket. There is no reset. He's 1,000% right. Then he gives a little more. Here's the SEC versus Ripple appellate timeline. SEC brief likely due 12/2/2024. SEC likely to seek permissible 30-day extensions, so will be due shortly after 1/1/25. Ripple will cross appeal. Its opening brief will be due around the same time. The opposition briefs will be due around 2/2/2025. Ripple will likely take this extension, taking that to 3/2/25. Ripple briefs will be due end of March 2025. An oral argument will be scheduled for some September 2025. A ruling will be handed down by the Second Circuit in January 2026, earliest March or April 2026. Then he says the parties could agree to withdraw the appeal at any time. And then Stuart Alderati weighed in. SEC's decision to appeal is disappointing but not surprising. This just prolongs what's already a complete embarrassment for the agency. The court already rejected the SEC's suggestion that Ripple acted recklessly and there were no allegations of fraud, and of course there were no victims or losses. Instead of faithfully applying the law, this agency under this chair continues to engage in litigation warfare against the industry. We're evaluating whether to file a cross appeal. Either way, SEC lawsuit has been irrational and misguided from the start, and we are ready to prove that yet again in the appellate court, once again taking the lead for the industry. 3, coincidence that SEC's enforcement director announced his resignation about an hour before this. So let's see. Then I thought that it was important to bring this to Stuart Alderati's attention, because this wasn't more than a week or 2 ago that he said this.
Both with the Republicans and the Democrats, we showed up at the RNC convention, we showed up at the DNC convention. We have met with the Trump campaign, we have met with the Harris campaign. Trump clearly, and the RNC clearly, has been very vocal. You look at their platform statement from their convention, 16 pages, 1 paragraph clearly on crypto, saying we're going to stop the U.S. war on crypto and make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. The Harris campaign has not been so public, but privately, they have said that they are interested in hitting the reset button. So I do think that policy comes first. The policymakers in this country have to remove the impetus for unelected bureaucrats who are running these regulatory agencies to create policy through enforcement.
Okay, so there's your pictures of, they're all the same people, folks. And I said it looks like Kamala Harris, Crypto for Harris, privately lied to you, Stuart, Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse. But why wouldn't they? That's what they do. They're all the same. Senator Warren, Kamala Harris, Gary Gensler. There is and never was a crypto reset. Mark Cuban, Scaramucci. These people protect their own, and that's all. Donald Trump is the only way. And I think, for the most part, I think Stuart Alderati gets it. Brad Garlinghouse was not happy. If Gensler and SEC were rational, they would have moved on from this case long ago. It certainly hasn't protected investors and instead has damaged the credibility and reputation of the SEC. Somehow, they still haven't gotten the message. They lost on everything that matters. Ripple, the crypto industry, the rule of law have already prevailed. While we'll fight in court as long as we need, let's be clear, XRP's status as a non-security is the law of the land today, and that does not change even in the face of this misguided and infuriating appeal. Remember, when the SEC tried unsuccessfully to file an interlocutory appeal, they made clear they had no intention of challenging XRP's status as a non-security. Down here he says, certainly feels like there's something more behind this than what is readily apparent. The truth and the corruption always comes to light eventually. By the way, XRP Unleashed is going to unveil the corruption to everyone in November. And they're going to have showings around the country before it, or in the beginning. Then he goes on down here. They certainly are not rational economic actor. They are spending taxpayer money, and there is no recourse or consequence for them to continue the fight, continue this losing fight. I'm not surprised. I'm pissed. I'm pissed that the SEC is spending our taxpayer money on a losing battle. I'm pissed that they are able to act without recourse or consequence. Regardless, we will prevail. For Ripple, for the XRP army, and the crypto industry. Well, I'll disagree with Brad on one thing. There is a consequence. His name is Donald J. Trump. That's the consequence. He is the only answer to this. Gary, he will get rid of Gary in no time flat. Now, Meta Lawman, it's good to watch. This is the, I'll tell you what. I think I'm going to save some more. I've got a lot more on the case and all. I think I'm going to start here in the next video and go with that. Right now, what I want to do in DAIXRP.com, I got two things. There's new footage. This is footage that's been put together on the X47 attempt thing, you know, that thing we don't talk about out here. And when you watch this footage, things become pretty clear to you where we stand. I also want to make sure I drive home something I don't know if I've ever driven home. And in one chart, the undeniable evidence of what's been talked about for a while that I can't talk about out here. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Get ready for new footage. Here we go.